Why Texas Chain Saw Massacre?
Like many people, we grew up in the 70s and 80s. Obviously, our childhood was Friday 13 and Texas Chain Saw Massacre, Halloween. And, it's just the forbidden thing to watch when you were a kid. And it's not like today where you have old digital access to things. You had to rent a VCR and you had to go borrow a TV from your aunt and find a place to watch these movies. Right? You couldn't just turn the TV on. And I can tell you exactly where I was at when I saw Texas Chain Saw Massacre the first time. I was 9 years old. Shouldn't have been watching it. We had this basement. It was actually not even a real basement. It was gravel, and there were holes in it, and it was pitch black. And we used to go down there and watch horror movies. We would hack it all down there. And I saw Texas Chain Saw Massacre in that basement, and to this day, it's kind of stuck with me. So, being in the video game industry, obviously, with Friday 13th, we wanted to bring the slasher genre back. And so, even going all the way back to 2014, when we announced Summer Camp, which turned into Friday 13th. I don't know if you knew that, but even then, I had my eye on the Texas Chain Saw Massacre because of the multiple family members. So while Friday 13th had one killer, right, versus 7 people, I always had my eye on multiple killers because I knew it would be a different experience. And it's something you can't get from Friday 13th or Halloween or even Scream or anything really, because the family's multiple people, there's multiple killers. So gameplay-wise, it fit into what we're trying to do, which is push the genre forward. But secretly, as a fan, I used to love Texas Chain Saw Massacre, and I still do. So that's kind of why I'm latched onto it. So a little bit of both, being a fan and gameplay.
Back to the movie. So, what part do you remember the most?
Funny. So a lot of people that watched the original film, even after it came out, or they would leave the theater, they would all over-exaggerate what they saw, right? Because they closed their eyes, or they're like, it's the most violent thing I've ever seen. And really, there's not a whole lot of violence in the movie. They don't show the kills. They cut away. They don't show the chainsaw going. It's implied. And when you have your eyes closed as a kid, you think that it's super dangerous and super violent. So really, it's a weird mixture of you don't know what you're watching because there's never been a movie like that before. The way it was shot, the camera angles, and how it was so beautiful outside in this countryside mixed with this insane family. There's never been a family like that on film before. And Kim Hinkle and Toby Hooper, they shot it very claustrophobic and very up close. It almost looked like a found footage before found footage existed. So they brought you right into the action and it made it seem more real, just the approach. So I think that was what I remember the most was it felt real, and I'd never seen that before. Whereas something like Friday 13th was kind of real, Halloween was kind of real, but you could tell that it wasn't, if that makes sense.
Now, as a family member, you can play as a team and people can help you out, and that adds a whole nother element.
So as a designer and creator, I'm not a fan of linear games, so I don't like a game telling me to go here, stand here, achieve objectives, fight off hordes, move to the next location. I create open world scenarios where you can do what you want, right? That's why Friday 13th is kind of open. It's a camp setting. It's not something like you're trapped on a small map and you have to fix one thing and wait, right? Where everyone's close by. So we give you the tools in the open world. And that's what we design. And that's why Friday 13th was fun, because you can go and explore and Jason can be on top of you in a second. With Texas, we took that same approach where we don't even tell you really what to do, right? We let you, we try to base it on reality. So, for example, in Friday 13th, we were asking people, just before they even knew it was a game, hey, if you were in Friday 13th, what would you do? And they always, I'd find a weapon. Okay, check. What else would you do? I'd try to find a car and leave. Okay, what if it doesn't work? I'd try to fix it. I'd call the cops. What if the phone doesn't work? I'd fix it. I'd go hide. I'd lock the door. So all those natural instincts you have as a human is what you would do in real life. We put those in the game. So that it's self-explanatory and let you figure that out on your own. For Texas, with the 3 family members roaming around, you never feel safe like you did in Friday 13th, right? You could take time and goof off when Jason wasn't around. He would show up, you'd scatter, and you'd laugh and jump out of the window. Now there could be a family member anywhere, and that the teamwork from the family could be forcing you into a situation you have no idea.
My prediction is that family member is actually going to be the most popular. Once people understand the
dynamic and how they work together.
Because once they understand the 2v1, once you get into that scenario, it's game over. From my experience, and I love the way the technical test was done because it forced people to have to play with people randomly, and people that choose to communicate had an advantage versus people that didn't. The most memorable match I had was it felt like Call of Duty. We're calling out over here, blah blah blah. And
it's just a lot of shooter communication. Naturally comes out in this game,
and that's what's decided.
Yes, and so all that is on purpose. All that is by design, and I've had family members, even to me, that's a victim, I think I got away only to figure out that it was a plan the whole time. They were just forcing me to the backyard while Leatherface was just waiting for me with a chainsaw and hit it off. Right? So you think you give one family member the slip only to walk into a trap or something because they're communicating, right? It's beautiful kind of this gameplay emerges based on human thought.
You can tell when people are communicating because every time I played a good team, I ran to a place and someone was there. I got to the fuse exit.
Yeah.
I thought I ran down the steps. It was in the perfect spot. There's a fuse exit right where the steps, lead right down to the basement.
Yeah.
I run to the fuse exit. I'm thinking it's open in my head. I get to the corner. The hitchhiker's crouched in front of the fuse exit. Blocks me out. I can't do anything. Guess what happens? Leatherface catches me in the back and he finishes me.
Yeah, because they planned that.
And I think
he's going for the fuse. He's going for the fuse. So if you're downstairs, go block it.
And it's funny because if I'm Leland, I'm out no matter what because I buck.
Shoulder charge.
Exactly.
And that's part it goes back to why we chose Texas. The family dynamic, multiple killers, multiple objectives, multiple escapes, an open world that you're basically trying to outsmart the other team. And we've seen that in Call of Duty, like you said. It borrows from so many other genres, and not just horror. That there's sports games in this game. So there's tons of stuff over the past 20 years that I've looked at and put into this.
And that's the interview that I had with Ronnie at the Texas Chain Saw Massacre pre-release party. It was such a fun and cool experience just to be able to sit down and hear all those additional details. Never in a million years did I think I would be in that position. I was so thankful to even be there in the first place. So shout out to Tom with Evolve for getting me access. I want to thank Andy Cleaves for encouraging me to speak with Ronnie. And then a shout out to Richard with Evolve as well for getting me in touch with Ronnie to be able to sit down and have that interview. Also, if you enjoyed this type of content and want to see more Texas Chainsaw Massacre content down the road, please give me a sub and please like the video. Peace.